Hello everyone, welcome back to some more PSU Splatoon. We're coming at you live with a Division 2 match in the 7th season of CCA. This is PSU Blue Nouveau going up against DPU Deep Fish Pizza. I am your host tonight, the man of the plan, the host of the most, the king of all freaks himself, the one and only Nikki. Joining me on the mic is my good friend Godzilla Maxwell, otherwise known as PSU Arctan, otherwise known as Max, otherwise known as the hottest man this side of the Mississippi. How you doing today, Max?
Pretty good. I've been, this should be a pretty good, interesting match. We've got the new updated PSU Blue playing against, essentially this is going to be their first new debut as being PSU Blue. We can see how well they do here.
That's what's really interesting to me about this, because by now, this really is an all new and improved roster for PSU Blue. They have none of their seasoned veterans. No Jay, no Snow, no Vapor, no me or you, for instance. We're both seasoned veterans of PSU Blue, as well as our esteemed producer, Nova. Shoutouts to her as well. This is really going to be their chance to show the world what kind of potential they have. PSU Blue obviously has an incredibly strong pedigree from seasons past, so they're going to have to see if they can make a name for themselves without the legacy of those seasoned veterans to fall back on. Obviously, all these players are long past my time, so if you have any thoughts on them, you probably know better than I do.
Yeah, fair enough, indeed. Well, they do have a player that has played on PSU Blue. J13 played on Blue for a semester, I think last spring. Though the rest of the team has played together before. Recently, they were all on our PSU White team, in which they did have a pretty good showing in that season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot of potential in these players. It's just a matter of will they be able to take that potential and make it work in a higher division. Because Div 2 is probably, aside from J13, that one former member of PSU Blue, Div 2 is probably a bit higher than the rest of these players we're used to.
I can't hear you guys on the stream right now.
Well, that's not good.
Okay.
Okay, what do we do?
I mean, I can hear it on the stream end.
Should we just keep going and assume it's
I
working?
I can hear
All
on
right,
the stream.
we're going to keep yapping on the assumption that things are working fine, just in case they are. Loading into Game 1 on Zones Umami. Any interesting thoughts on these comps, Max?
For one, as a Wonder player, I hate decav. So I hate to see that both teams have a decav. Though I think it's rather interesting that Deep Fish Pizza is not running a hard back line. Instead, there are a bunch of mid lines and a front line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very midline heavy comp on the side of DPU, which usually means they're probably going to be trying to move quickly and aggressively. You've already seen some of that. And it might be backfiring. They're already 2 down. We see Kami finding a pick on J13 there, that splash. Slider at the ready.
Indeed.
Seems like Favor is trading back in favor of DPU, but right now it's just a whole host of neutral, honestly. Both teams kind of trying to grapple with the zone.
Indeed. It looks like, though, Deep Fish Pizza is pushing PSU Blue back into their opening. Oh, no. Oh, that looked like that is...
Yeah, there's a lot of lag in this game right now. Whoa. What time zone are we in? What country is this? Who
Silver
are
just
these?
being immune to enemy ink.
There we go.
And just sliding. And there's a DC.
Okay, I think that was Multi, the Charger on the side of Penn State, who DC'd.
Indeed, it is Multi.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and end that game. This is within regulation, DC within the first minute of the game. They're just going to treat that as their one redo. And just try it again, pretend like nothing ever happened. $20 a year, make all the jokes you want. Splatoon 3 is a great game, yada yada. Hey, it gives us a bit more time to yap about the map and also those comps, because, rules say they have to run the same weapons again. Was there anything else interesting you noticed about those comps?
We don't tend to see a lot of chargers, like the classic charger, not E-liter, not like any other charger, just the classic one. I feel like it's become more and more uncommon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. V-charger, or not really V-charger, because it's the whichever one has
the camo one.
Yeah, camo charger. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, you don't really see V-charger a lot these days. But it definitely has its merit. By no means is it a bad weapon. It's just that when you're competing with Pencil, the strongest weapon in the game, it can be a bit difficult to carve out a niche for yourself. Especially when a lot of dedicated charger mains, I feel, seem to think of E-Leader as very much the same weapon, but better. If you're hitting your shots, E-Leader being a bit slower doesn't really... That weakness doesn't matter as much, so it's pretty much just the same thing with a bit of extra range. By no means is that 100% true. V-Charger does have the ability to play a bit more aggressively, just due to it being a far less slow and clunky weapon. But I do agree, it's interesting to see Penn State pull that out. Definitely not a commonly played weapon.
Indeed. I mean, it could fare really strong in this match, because DPU isn't running a strong backline. So they currently don't have anything that can outrange that charger.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Umami, I've talked at length about why I don't like this map. It's a very lockout-heavy map, and if that charger gets set up in top mid, they could really lock down that main choke. Especially if a crab tank to fall back on as well, if they notice their front lines go 1 or 2 down. So I think what this game's going to come down to is if PSU Blue can not only take the zone, but be able to push up to that next level. Because if they get set up, they're going to be in a far more comfortable position than DPU would be if they got into that lockout position.
Indeed, the DPU does have the bubble option from the decav, which might be their only true defensive option if PSU tries to push back in or take space.
Right. Shouts to Silver there, living on literally 1 HP. That must have been like a 99.9. We are still coming off hot of that cool new update that lets us see player health bars. A big Zuka coming out from Silver, finding one and an assist on the other. And now we see Penn State moving into that lockout position that we were talking about. We really need Multi or Fujo here, however they prefer to be called. We really got to see them take that next level. If they can get set up on the enemy snipe up where Kasonic is, they're going to be set for life. But they're opting to play things a bit more slowly right now, just kind of testing a bit more of a forward position, and probably the right thing to do because we see DPU rallying with 3 specials all at once there.
But they weren't able to find a pick with that. Instead, they go 3 down to PSU. Their defense holding strong.
Yeah, that's really not ideal if you're DPU. The strikes are out, no specials online, and if Penn State within the last 20 points of the game, it is quite literally now or never for DPU. Yeah. Already down 1, they're going to find a trade on the decap, but they gotta go right now, otherwise it's gonna be too late. One zone flip, the other one trying to get into the other one, but it's not enough, and that is game 1 in favor of Penn State.
Yeah, that was a pretty strong showing from PSU, not giving up the zone, and not even allowing it to be neutralized more than once.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly what we were talking about before that game started. If Penn State got into the lockout position, they were probably gonna be able to just run that down 100-0, and we didn't quite see that 100-0 push. They got stopped for just a little bit at the end, but even still, the lockout on Umami is just too vicious for DPU to handle, especially without the range to really contest that charger.
Indeed, they had no option to really get back in. But we did see them attempt with the bubble early on. It just they weren't able to work with it to find any strong picks. But they definitely did try, but PSU Blue held strong there.
I almost feel like DPU kind of popped their specials backwards from what I think they should have. The strikes and missiles to displace the charger probably should have been the first specials to come out. That would force PSU back, and that would give the other 2 specials, the slider and the bubble, the space they need to pop them far more aggressively in a forward position, just to force Penn State even further back. And then from there, they probably would have had a much better chance at grappling for the zone. But by popping these missiles and strikes after the slider and the bubble got minimal value. So maybe a bit of a blunder on special coordination, but either way, I agree. The intent was there. They had all their specials lined up. They were ready for a beautiful retake, but I feel like the execution was just a bit half-baked. So hopefully we could see them maybe turn that around and going into game 2. There is plenty of set left after all. We are here for the best of 7 long run. On that note, game 2, Rainmaker Robo, a least favorite of mine. Any thoughts on this one, Max?
I actually like this map. Because
you are the ultimate hipster, so can you tell me why this map is actually secretly goated?
It's good for Reef Slider.
There you go.
That's it.
Okay, look at this.
Otherwise, I dislike this map.
It's very choky, and it's very snowbally. Once teams get past that first check, it's basically all downhill to the second check. And the way of comps, we see, I think, no changes on the side of DPU. They're running the exact same thing, I think. No, the Tetra out for V-dualies. That is the big difference. And then over at Penn State, we see a Zap and a ZF charger coming out this time.
Interesting, but both teams decided to keep that decav.
And the way it comes
PSU going to be getting the checkpoint here pretty early and trying to move up with it. All numbers up. They got specials. There's numbers down on DPU. This is their time to move in strong.
The Rainmaker's going to try to just gun it for points, maybe a bit too haphazardly because they're going to get taken out very quickly. But Penn State having Cooler online, they're going to be able to keep this momentum going. Some big missiles to slow them down, but DPU's, they went 2 down. Finding a pick on the dualies with the fall-off, this is going to be big points for PSU, taking it all the way down to 23.
Yeah, and they're still keeping the push going.
Yeah,
DPU just keeps going down one by one.
Fujo, I feel, is doing a great job up there holding down that forward position on elbow, just letting their teammates jump in over and over again. They can't get this momentum to stop, it seems like.
Indeed, it doesn't look like DPU has the range to be able to deal with the space that PSU has got for themselves. But we do see a Crab trying to get picks here. Finds one, trying to find another, but it looks like they're going to manage to escape.
Yeah, notably, the Charger was the first one to die there, which means DPU has all of the space in the world to push up and really let that more short-range aggressive comp shine. But they're going to need to move quickly. We have a bubble in a forward position. You love to see it. Running back to grab the fish. The Charger has sights on him, though, and you cannot just pick up the Rainmaker like that if a laser pointer's aiming straight at you, my guy. Good shot by Fujo, although they are going to trade them out for that play.
Indeed. But we do see another Crab coming out here. Trying to find the pick on J13. Does find it, and DPU gets the checkpoint.
They don't just get the checkpoint, but Penn State's a little bit staggered. They went 2 down at the same time there. Now another one's dying. Penn State really has to slow down and focus on staying alive here. This is a dangerous position for their opponent to be in. Running straight into that bomb, though. Lack of awareness. A big bubble in a forward position. We have a decav off. Always fun to see.
How did he jump out?
Oh my god, that was... I don't know if that was more embarrassing for Kasonic or the decaf from DPU. I didn't catch their name. Shoot. Either way, though, you love to see those super intense sword mid-offs where they just dash right past each other and then mutually agree, you know what, let's just drop this.
Ooh, but Kasonic takes out their decav, getting a late hit on them. It's revenge for them escaping.
Yeah, good defense from Penn State again. They were in a pretty dangerous position there, but the Rainmaker's back to being reset in mid, and DPU didn't get a single point past that first check. If you're Penn State, that's probably the best you could hope for given the situation you were in.
Indeed, there's going to be a lot of ground for DPU to make up here. They have to get down to at least 13, and that's pretty far into the enemy base for them.
It is, but like I always say, Rainmaker truly is the mode where anything can happen. And on a snowball-heavy map like this, no lead is truly safe. All it takes is one good wipe at the wrong time, and this game could flip at the drop of a hat. So by no means is DPU quitting over this. Like, keep your cool, play level-headed. I'm gonna wait for that golden opportunity and strike when the iron is hot.
Indeed, DPU's got 4 special, and it looks like they're going to at least pop one with the missiles, and another one with the strikes. But it looks like their Crab goes down before they can get it off.
And Kasonic popping Orva with a big bubble in a forward position. Another decav off, somehow finding the pick. I really thought that was going to be a trade. The man is going sicko mode on him. Orva online, Cooler online. Now is Kasonic's chance to just hold forward, play like an idiot, and get himself blown up. Nice.
With the Cooler from J13, he's going to be back and probably more aggressive than ever.
Right. I mean, again, the dude has Orva. Like, he's got all the incentive in the war to hold forward. DPU is consistently getting caught out by these suction bombs from, I think, actually, the double suction bombs, so it could either be Silver or the N-Zap, J13. Rainmaker running forward, not going to get any points, though. I feel like they could have. Fujo maybe getting a little bit nervous there, pulling back, just shy of getting a few more points. But even still, like, we're running into the last minute of the game. If the Rainmaker deep into enemy territory, that's just another, like, they're just building that buffer of ground that DPU has to make up within the last few seconds of the game. Only 30 seconds left. This will likely be their last or maybe second to last chance they get to turn this game around.
Indeed, but it looks like PSU is going 2 down with Kasonic being far back. But that flank makes it worth it. Finding the Rainmaker and getting the assist on the last one alive. DPU is going to be coming out of spawn. They might not have a chance to fully get back in.
Yeah, that was a really big play from Kasonic. He's truly been the MVP of at least this game, it feels like, just constantly getting behind DPU, causing a ton of trouble for them. Fusion picks with the Rainmaker barely escapes with their life. If they would have died there, that would have been overtime for DPU. So, surviving by a scare there. I feel like I disagree with Fujo's choice to pick up the Rainmaker there, but I mean, hey, they didn't get punished for it, so that's what you like to see. Penn State goes up 2-0 in the set, and right away I want to mention, like, One win, especially on Umami Zones, that could be, construed as a fluke. Umami Zones is a very volatile map mode after all. I don't think it's like a super good indicator of like which team is stronger than the other. But 2 wins back to back and 2 pretty commanding wins like that. I mean, Penn State they're showing up today. And what's surprising about that is, if I'm not mistaken, they are actually the bottom seed in their group, and DPU is the top seed of their group. So by no means, assuming I'm correct, Max, can you confirm or deny?
No, I cannot. I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure Penn State is bottom seed, which means their Group 1 opponent would be the top seed. And if that is the case, then this is quite the upset. I think DPU really was the favorite to win here. But Penn State, not letting the nerves get to them, not letting the numbers shake their confidence, they're giving it their all, and they're making it work.
Yeah, definitely. But DPU is not just falling over and dying here. They put up a good fight last game. They were able to hold off multiple PSU blue pushes, and were able to get the checkpoint and show a lot of signs that they have strong. They do have the ability to win. We can see it come out from here.
100%. Like, by no means is DPU making this easy for my blue. Again, that first push they got where they broke that first checkpoint, they were set up in that nice lockout position on elbow with all 4 specials online. If they just merged a little bit better in that position, or perhaps more appropriately, if Kasonic didn't go sicko mode on them, they probably would have had the makings of a phenomenal push there. I think DPU, their awareness seems to be what they're struggling with. They're getting called out by a lot of bombs. They're getting called out by some cheeky flanks a lot. Kasonic is in their heads, in their walls, all around them. He's everywhere and nowhere all at once, and I think that's kind of shaking DPU's confidence. So awareness. If they could just pay attention to where those problematic players are and try to keep tabs on them and play around them a bit better, they're probably gonna have a really strong chance at taking a game. And hopefully we'll see some of that on this next game, TC Museum. As opposed to that last one, this is a personal favorite of mine. So Max, you got any thoughts on it?
I dislike this map because it's not a giant choke point, which Reslider is really good on. It's also tower control, and I hate tower control.
Okay, I think I'm gonna stop asking you for your opinions on these map modes because it's clear, it's your.
I'm very biased. This is
it's becoming increasingly clear to me that your criteria is either good here.
That's it. But we're about to start the 3rd game here. Let's see if DPU can adapt to what Kasonic has been playing in these other games and find openings. We got a bunch of comp changes here. Yeah, we got a Carbon Deco coming out from DPU and Charcoal Decav coming out from Kasonic.
Also, a sneakier comp change. Pay close attention there. We actually have a Forge Pro coming out this time instead of the Frozen Pro. Likely for that GG Booyah. It makes sense. A lot of these comp changes actually make a lot of sense. Kasonic pulling out the Inkjet Decav. This is one of the strongest map modes in the game for Inkjet. Being able to poke up onto the enemy plat like that and just blow people up out of nowhere with Inkjet, it's a pretty powerful trait. And also, I'm glad to see both teams running a crab weapon, Fujo on that crab charger, and the V-Dualies coming out from Kami again. This is a very strong map for crab tank, either from mid spinner or, better yet, the enemy spinner. You could really lock out the enemy team with that.
Indeed, and it looks like PSU Blue is going to take the early lead here, popping a crab on the tower, trying to push into their plan, getting the first checkpoint. As numbers down for DPU, it does not look like it's going to fare well currently. DPU is going to have to find an opening. It looks like they do. They take out Multi on the charger, and they take out another one.
Yeah, a big Booyah to kind of slow down Penn State. The last one stuck in the corner there, forced to jump out. That was a great Booyah bomb from the side of Bread here. Losing that first checkpoint, it's a bit unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. In my experience, the story of Museum is often, that first checkpoint is genuinely really hard to defend, but the second checkpoint is where like 90% of this game takes place. That stretch of track that go from the second checkpoint that loops around the backside of the spinner, that is a brutally difficult choke point to push the tower through. So like, trying to run him over with the carbon roller, what the hell, Bust? This man's insane. Point is, losing that first checkpoint, it hurts, but by no means is DPU quitting just because they forfeited that first checkpoint early. The second checkpoint and that stretch between second and third is where 90% of this game will be decided.
Definitely. It looks like the Inkjet from Kasonic goes down to the dualies, but the rest of the team finds that pick on that dualies, making sure that act doesn't go unpunished.
Another crab
strikes, forcing the crab off the tower, and they have to drop back. Both teams spamming specials here, trying to get to control.
I like I really like the choice of crab for this particular map mode, but I can't help but feel like Fujo would get a lot more value out of them if they would have used their crabs for mid-spinner and let someone else ride tower, and then they can just use that crab to give them cover fire. By popping crab on the tower at second checkpoint, you're limiting its effective range so much because wow, I cannot believe they lived there.
Damn.
You're limiting your effective range by a lot because the spinner kind of cuts off most of your sight line. Regardless, Penn State is going to take that second checkpoint with help from Kasonic's Inkjet, and they are now threatening the third one, although with an effective wipe, this is going to be a great opportunity for Kami to get set up, maybe get a crab tank going, taking out the enemy backline. That's a great start. I'm telling you, man, crab on here.
Ooh, will the decap find them? They do not. They break the crab, but the decap managed to escape.
Yeah, no, I loved that crab from the backside of Spinner, but I can't but feel like it would have been a lot more effective if they got on top of Spinner before they popped it. Again, like, from popping it on the ground there, you're limiting your effective range so much by cutting off that huge sight line. Regardless, though, DPU pushing past the first checkpoint, now threatening the second, and with another crab tank online already, this could be big for them.
Indeed, it looks like it's going to come out here forcing Silver back.
Yeah, Kami's doing a great job farming out those crab tanks. It's what you usually see dualies played for nowadays. It's a great weapon for farming crab with. And unlike Splash, it actually has the ability to take those scrappy one-on-ones without getting itself killed. So, I mean, yeah, Kami's doing a good job playing the crab spammer role. We see a counter crab from Fujo to try to force him back, but honestly, it was probably a little bit unnecessary. DPU not able to take that second checkpoint, but they were able to like put a pretty big dent in it. Regardless, again, that second checkpoint, that is where 90% of this game is decided. If they want any chance of taking this game back, they're really going to want to converge and coordinate their specials on that particular choke point, because otherwise it's going to be hell for them to get through.
Oh, definitely. And that strong piss from DPU shows that they're definitely not out of this game yet. So it looks like they're not going to have many chances left. They might only have one chance to break that checkpoint and push up and take the lead here.
It's also worth noting, again, sneaky comp changes, I didn't even notice it, but we actually have J13 swapping off the Zap and pulling out Neo Splash. And what that means is that DPU, they're playing with a very strict time limit here. The second the game goes to overtime, all it takes is one more use of strikes, and the game is pretty much as good as over for DPU. So, yeah, 20 seconds left. That's probably more like 10 seconds for them, because J13, very close to his strikes. Like, one more good suction bomb, and he'll probably have him. And then from there, there's really not much DPU can do unless they find a vital pick on J13.
Yeah, definitely. We can see J13 playing hyper defensive, just sitting back and waiting for those strikes. And there are the strikes. And
yeah, no,
it's good to find a picks, and that's the game.
Too powerful. J13 recognizing the power of his special. I mean, you called it out, and it's 100% true. He was playing that very safe. I feel like his strikes came out maybe a little bit early. The tower was in a position where it would have been awkward for his teammates to take advantage of the strikes. But either way, he found a pick on the one who was trying to touch tower. That's all those strikes really needed to do. Clear out that space, get someone on tower, and take game 3 in favor for your team. We are at match point for PSU Blue.
Indeed, it's looking more and more like PSU Blue is getting a really strong opening here, especially since they're the bottom seed of their group, and DPU is the top seed. Like, this is pretty strong. This is this is something you would expect the other way around typically. This is a pretty big upset so far.
And something else that I think is notable is the fact that, like, PSU Blue, they're playing really well, but notably, I don't think there's any, like, one particular star player on their roster. I feel like all 4 of them, they're all bringing something to the table. Like, there is no obvious weak link, and there is no obvious, like, team carry. Like, they're all filling their respective roles as well as they need to keep these games comfortable for them. Fujo on that back line, Kasonic being the hyper-aggressive front line, and then Silver and J13 kind of playing the skirmisher and support roles floating between them. Each player is playing their particular role exactly the way they need to. So, like, I feel like PSU Blue, they're winning, and they're not just winning, they're winning the way they're supposed to, by playing as a finely tuned, well-crafted machine, rather than one player kind of just punching a hole through the enemy team and having the other 3 pick up the scraps. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, each player on PSU Blue has had their game this set so far. Like, and again, we saw Sonic on that Rainmaker Ramen just cutting through the enemy near that end of the game, getting the thing and whatnot. We saw this last game that Fujo and J13 were really strong in protecting that tower and keeping the enemy team off it. that first game, we saw Silver go off on the shot, and he was definitely providing some work in there.
Yeah, and I think that's significant and very reassuring for a team that's running a almost entirely new roster, pretty much. Again, like, none of these players are strangers to CCA, to my knowledge. But, like, they are a roster that was put into a very high division with limited prior synergy. So, like, being able to all come together like this and play as that, like, well-oiled machine, like, I don't know, I think there's something really reassuring about that. Like, this is a roster that works. It's not just one player stealing the spotlight. But anyways, game 4, Crab Leg, wait a minute, I almost said Crab Leg Crabs. No, Crab Leg Clams. Looking at the comp changes, we have Fujo switching to the Rapid Pro, a personal favorite of mine. Otherwise, nothing too surprising from either team.
I want to point out here that PSU Blue is running 4 suction bombs.
Oh my god, they are.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's pretty obnoxious. Fujo finding some early value, gonna get themselves killed though, and unfortunately they died before they could get a cooler off. If you're playing that cooler support role, it is really vital that you play for special early on, because that is how you get all your momentum with cooler. Like, that first cooler is arguably the most important cooler of the entire game. But either way, we have... Oh, go ahead.
We do see another comp change, and we see a V-Splash coming out from DPU instead of the Dualies.
Yeah, that's Kami over there. Perhaps they're more of a crab main and not necessarily a dualies main. Either way, this is yet another very strong map for Crab Tank, so I'm actually a little bit surprised that Kuja would switch from the Crab Charger to Rapid Pro there. I mean, again, like, Cooler's very important. It's the best special in the game, and likely always will be. But even still, like, PSU Blue has played well without Cooler in both games 1 and 3 of this set. I feel like the Rapid Pro is maybe a little bit unnecessary. But either way, I mean, hey, Kuja, they must have picked it for a reason. Someone got a cheeky flank on the basket. That's going to be points on the board for DPU. This is pretty much like the first lead they really had all set. So it's just a matter of being cool and trying to hold that lead.
Like, that last push was pretty strong. DPU was able to hold ground, despite not having a backline for a pretty good while, and was able to eventually get it in, get a ball in, and get an additional clam as well. Let's see if they can repeat that.
Yeah, I mean, the economy's definitely in their favor right now. 14 clams to only 5 on the side of PSU Blue. The clam spawns on Crab Leg are infamously uncooperative. Just the way they come in, it's all spread out. I want to give a shout out to Silver, by the way, making great use of his Zuka just to shut down any crab that Kami, the Splash/Dualies player, tries to get out. I swear, every time that Dualies player, or anytime Kami tries to pop their crab, there's always a Zuka on him ready to just shut it down immediately. We see Silva going for a cheeky flank up into the top right, but they're going to get scared off by that Carbon. Don't blame him, that is a tricky matchup. LDT barely staying alive to the blaster. I think Kujo ran out of ink there. They could juggle the balls, but no, they're going to elect to let that power clam die and kind of just fall back to play more of a neutral role.
I think letting that ball die there was a pretty good idea, because dropping right into the enemy team is like, though he might not know it, but we can see that Kasonic was sharking there on the right. So unfortunately, he gets found out by the Carbon and isn't able to find a pick, and gets no value.
Yeah, Penn State going 2 down. Special was online. We see the defensive strikes coming out, but with so many clams on the board for DPU and that manpower, now is going to be their chance to really get in there and get the makings of a big push going. LDT going to try to go for the left flank, but if the ball exposing their position, that flank isn't really much of a flank. Kami popping Aura, they are 2 down, but PSU Blue is a bit staggered here. Now would be their chance, but they're going to elect to play this very safely, actually. Finding to pick on the decaf, they're trying to get in on the back line, but Penn State's defense is just too intimidating for DPU, it feels like.
Indeed. Kami was playing that offensive really well, finding multiple picks, being able to extend flow aura. That was some really strong gameplay from them.
Yeah, this Carbon over here, really playing the ledge as well. Penn State is very scared to approach the side there. But DPU going 2 down, a bubble in a 4 position as well. Fujo getting run over by the Crab Tank, staying alive, but they just need 1 clam. There it is, and there's the lead in favor of Penn State. And they'll keep
they got lead, they got space. Let's see if they can get another one in, but they can't get the ball in. It just looks like they jumped in just out of the range.
I'm guessing they jumped where the bubble was placed, and because the bubble was spy, by the time they landed, it was exposing their jump. Yeah, not be able to dunk in that pity, but either way, they do have a fairly commanding lead over DPU now. With only a minute left in the game, with, yet again, this being match point for Penn State, the ball is very much in DPU's court right now.
Very much so. They got a minute left. Got strike coming out from PSU Blue. And more strikes coming out from PSU Blue? Or I think that was just the last one.
Yeah, J13 really holding on to that last one. The backline's going to go down, but the rest of Fujo's teammates clean up her murderer very nicely. Silva popping out a big Zuka, somehow missing the shot on LDT there. Dude got robbed with his Zuka. Gonna jump out there. This is really looking scary for DPU. Penn State knows that they don't really need to aggress this if they don't need to, if they don't want to. They can afford to play this very patiently, let DPU come to them. And if the Power Clam's exposing their positions like that, like Penn State really doesn't have to worry about getting like jumped on from unexpected. Silva going for a great push, finding two there, popping Orba.
Pushing hell, nice play from Silva. Getting two there, they were attempting to find a third there.
Yeah, this is really not looking good for DPU. They're pushed all the way back into their spawn. They're gonna get 20 seconds of overtime. Oh, wait, no, they didn't. Their ball expired. That's game 4 for Penn State, and with it, the match. A 4-0 sweep against the top seed in their group. Very impressive.
Yeah, like, as the new PSU Blue, you've got pretty big shoes to fill. Looks like these people are coming out here showing that they're not to be underestimated and not to just... Can't toss them away as just the fill-ins for PSU Blue. This is a strong team, and they're here to prove it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, again, we were talking at the start of this stream, like, this roster, they know they got big shoes to fill. PSU Blue is one of the most prestigious names in all of CCA, and that kind of pressure put on them is probably pretty intimidating, a little bit nerve-wracking, and they showed, like, hey, like, first impressions matter a lot. This is our chance to really come out the door, guns blazing, arms swinging, and show them that we're not just, like, as you said, like we're not just the supplements to Blue. We're not just like the discount Fisher Price version of them. We're our own team. Got big shoes to fill, but we're gonna work damn hard to make sure that we could fill them. And I think they're proving it so far. So congrats on the win, PSU Blue. It looks like we are gonna fulfill the CCA tradition of doing the play all 7. So these matches have no statistical purposes, but it is great to maybe get a bit of experience on these map modes, get a bit of extra practice in there, and for everyone to kind of just chill out a little bit, let those nerves die down, and have some fun.
Oh, definitely. And that's a DPU's point. DPU, like, the score of this game does not show how accurately DPU was fighting back, as they were able to command the lead from almost all of the last game and only going down in the lead near the end. Like, they are definitely not weak in their own rights.
Yeah, no, that last game was decided by one push for both teams. Each team only broke the basket once. So, I mean, DPU, I mean, like, they had it in them to win that game, I think, for sure. That was definitely the closest they have come, I feel. But regardless, I mean, that's the other fun thing of the play all 7. They might have lost the set, but that doesn't mean they can't take 1 or 2 games for the road with them. And with, again, the nerves and stakes being a lot lower now, I mean, sometimes people play better when they're on autopilot. You see it all the time. A team gets 4-0 swept in the actual set, and then the play all, they reverse 3-0 them. It's more common than you'd probably expect. So hopefully we can see a little bit of that as we go into Game 5 on Urchin Zones, the newest map mode in the game. Max, you tell me, is Slider any good here?
Yes. Yes, it is.
It is Zones after all.
It is Zones, and there's definitely a lot of open space, especially near around the edges of the zone. There's a lot of flat open space here, and either team could look to use that as their advantage. And to use that open space, find their enemies, and be able to put distance.
Penn State running a double strike comp. Fujo pulling out the ZF Splat Charger again. Personally, I would love to see them pull out Vacuum Charger, but I am biased. Strikes do make a lot of sense here. And the finisher point that you were making, it's also worth noting that the checkpoint, not the checkpoint, while there's open space on either sides of the zone, the actual zone itself is very claustrophobic, wedged in between those 2 walls in the trench in mid. Which means not like it matters, no one's playing a slider weapon, but it does mean the zone can often be a very dangerous place to find yourself in. One of the most important rules of zones is don't die in zone, and it's pretty easy to do that in this map mode, because when you're caught in zone, there's really only one way to run, and aggressive players can take a lot of advantage of that kind of predictability.
There's a comp change I want to point out, as we just saw it here. You see a V-Dapple is coming out from Kami. Opting for the first time DPU is using Cooler this set.
Yeah, I mean, again, they have the faster comp out of these 2 teams, not running the traditional backline. But maybe they're thinking, hey, like, a bit more speed would probably help us. Cooler's going to give us that momentum to take a few more risks and play a bit more aggressively, which might be what we need to push through the more defensive comp of PSU. And so far, like, I mean, hey, it's working out for them, successfully breaking through PSU Blue's hold, giving them a pretty substantial penalty, and now even threatening that lead to themselves.
Indeed. It looks like the Cooler, at least from right now to the start, is proving to be well. but PSU Blue is able to push back through, take the zone back, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to hold for long as they go 2 down here.
Fujo finding the tap shot on Kami there. You love to see it. Gonna get traded out, though. Both teams 2 down. Scratch that. It's just a bucket. Their strikes are online. It would probably be wise to focus life here, wait for your teammates to come back and have them play up their strikes. Or not. They're just going to elect to pop the strikes themselves. But, I mean, right there, showing a great example of why you kind of need teammates to play with your strikes. They threw them out there. They neutralized the zone for a second, but all it takes is 1 second for PSU to paint over those zones, paint over those strikes again. So, like, those strikes, I can't help but feel like they did not get a lot of value. And now, DPU 2 down. Penn State threw their penalty. Every second from here on out really matters. And with them, approaching a knockout, they don't have a lot of seconds to burn. It's now or never for DPU, and they're kind of staggered, going 2 down yet again.
Indeed, and it looks like PSU Blue is just sitting here waiting for DPU to just make a move so they can capitalize and hopefully take the lead and kill some more.
Yeah, it's looking to be Game 5 in favor of Penn State. I cannot believe that last melee hit actually connected. God, decav is such a silly weapon. But, yeah, no, Kasonic taking advantage of the shark-heavy nature of his weapon, just looming large there in the main street. He didn't even need to do anything. Just him sitting there and, like, creating the idea that he could be there for DPU was enough of a deterrent to keep him from pushing through that main street. And then when someone did try to rush through their end zone, they got picked out immediately because Decav is just so good at springing out from the unknown. So, yeah, another pretty decisive win for Penn State. They are playing this exceedingly well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Blue was able to mostly just take control of that game after the initial push from DPU was able to take the zone for just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel about that adjustment to Cooler for DPU? Because again, it is an interesting adjustment. It was the first time they put out Cooler all set, and Cooler is pretty significant, like that change in momentum or speed can make a world of difference for some teams. But I mean, after like the first
fast running runner.
Yeah, but after the first half of that game, I can't help but feel like the Coolers weren't gaining a lot of value there. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they elect to keep Kami on those Dapples, or if they're gonna switch to another cooler weapon as we go into Game 6 on Scorch Rainmaker.
Scorch Rainmaker is a very interesting map, very common. Do you have any opinions on it?
So in my mind, I'm gonna make the same point I made when I casted the last Penn State set, but this time I'm actually gonna say it right. It's funny that we have both Scorch and Ramen Rainmaker in the same map list, because these two map modes are alarmingly similar layout-wise. There's 2 ways to go, but most teams are gonna opt to push right up into the elbow area for that first check. And then after the first check, it's basically all downhill until you get to the final stretch of the map. Which means that first checkpoint, it's a brutal choke point, actually taking the checkpoint and pushing a bit past it. But as soon as you get past it, it is all downhill. Points snowball unbelievably quickly on this map mode.
Okay.
That said, I do think it is a significantly better map mode than Ramen. I can't quite explain it. Again, their layouts are eerily similar, just kind of mirrored horizontally. But like Ramen Rainmaker, I find stalls a lot, whereas this one really doesn't. So I can't quite explain it. They're very similar map modes. I just know I like this one a lot more.
Definitely. In terms of just comparing those two maps, I definitely prefer Scorch. But let's see how it fares well as we start this next up game here. Will DPU be able to use a slightly different map? Will it bring them more advantage, or will PSU Blue opt to do the same route that they did for Ramen?
So PSU has 3 suction bombs, so I'll be very surprised if they don't get popped, to be expected. We see Kami switching back to the Tetra Dualies for the first time since Game 1, pulling out some big sliders. I almost kind of feel like they're playing this backwards from how it should have been. I would have loved to see the slider on Urchin and then the cooler here in Rainmaker. But I mean, hey, again, like, to each their own, they probably have a good reason. Finding a beautiful pick on the back line. Bus, what the hell? Bus looming large behind enemy lines, creating a ton of space for his teammates, and a big Zook as well. This is probably going to be the checkpoint for DPU if they can just get up there a little bit. They got to get
Bus is taking advantage of the chaos and running in, finding 2, getting Aura. They're going for a 3rd, and they get the assist on it. Wow, they got a wipe. DPU gets a wipe out here. That is really strong coming out from them, as they're taking the lead early in this game.
What are you doing, man? No! Oh, DPU getting a little bit nervous. They could have ran that for so many more points. The path was clear. I know there was a suction bomb in the way there, but they probably could have just dashed past it. Regardless, a really good push for a DPU. The Carbon Roller putting in work for their team, finding so many big picks, and forcing Penn State to just play for a reset, which is not ideal. I mean, DPU, they're already all set up in mid. Cooler is online for Penn State, and that was some great placement on the part of J13. So this would be their chance to go, finding another as well from the side of Fujo. But either way, I mean, Penn State, they have a ways to go before they can begin to threaten that lead. A whole checkpoint, and then the most brutal choke point on the map that you're going to have to get through.
Definitely, we see a crab out here trying to get some space for them, but it looks like the counter strikes from the bucket are going to take them down and take more with them. As PSU Blue goes 3 down, it's just J13 on that zap.
And Kami and Bus here, knowing what they should be doing. If there's only one player left, let's go dive him, you know? Let's get on him like a rattlesnake on top of another rattlesnake and just light it up. Not going to find the picks they need, though, unfortunately. The Rainmaker is now caught out alone, and they're going to go down. That is a delayed wipe in favor of Penn State. Specials online, 2 wipeouts back-to-back, funnily enough. This is going to be big points for Penn State. Silver and a bubble lined up as well. Zuka out from Silver, finding all the picks. DPU is scrambling, kind of staggered, just kind of running in over and over into a bit of a feed stagger loop. That lead rapidly ticking down. They only need 10 more points. They're going to find the pick. It is a bloodbath from the choke point, and now it is just J13 desperately waiting for jump-ins from his teammates, but the missiles are going to definitely slow him down a little bit. Max, I'm lost. This is an absolute bloodbath on the Rainmaker.
Oh yeah, definitely. Both sides are just smashing forward, killing each other, reviving, coming back again, and then killing more.
Yeah,
this is just crazy from both sides, as it's now just Kasonic from PSU Blue. And it looks like he's going to retreat into mid, leaving that push finally ending.
Getting jump-ins for his teammates and finding a reversal on the dualies. Definitely the correct play on Kasonic's part. What scared me is that the Rainmaker was left popped there, like, for anyone to take. And it was just sitting there for a little bit. Penn State, if they were maybe a bit more cheeky about things, or a bit more, what's the word, proactive, they probably could have just snuck in there and stole the Rainmaker and stole the lead at the last second. But unfortunately, they're going to miss their chance. Now forced to push all the way from square one again. And DPU, so long as they can just keep their cool and not go 2 down at a bad time, they're probably going to be set to play this very patiently. I say that as they go 2 down at kind of a bad time. Make that 3 down.
Ooh. Look like LDT is trying to put in work, but goes down, unable to stop them.
Yeah, notably dropping their strikes as well. That would have been huge for the defense, but no, the Rainmaker's going to die just shy of the final lead change. Someone dies through a suction bomb on the shield. That is tragic. They're going to get wiped out, but Penn State pushing all the way up that brutal choke point. A lead of 8 on this map is very commanding. That choke point is like basically impossible to get through without some insane special coordination or a properly timed wipeout. By no means impossible though. Again, Rainmaker is the mode where anything can happen, but this is looking like it's gonna be pretty difficult for DPU.
Yeah, lead on 8 is, you essentially have to get into knockout territory to be able to take the lead back on this. We thought the 30-point lead from DPU was commanding and strong early this game, but PSU Blue's here to prove that it isn't, and they can take back the lead whenever they so wish.
Fujo set up on the enemy grates in a very dangerous position. And again, like right now, if you're Penn State, you don't need to touch the fish. You're just what am I trying to say? You're just trying to wait out that clock, getting closer and closer to overtime. And with it being before 15 seconds since someone touched the Rainmaker, there's not going to be any overtime. DPU has to touch the fish. We see Bus trying to make something happen, but they're going to get called out by the sniper very quickly. A big slider to try to make something happen, but it's too little too late. That is game 6 in favor of PSU Blue.
Oh yeah, definitely. We definitely saw a lot of light from DPU with their early push there, being able to get down to the 30. Especially on Scorch Rainmaker, that's not an easy feat. But yeah, PSU Blue was able to do the same, and it looks like DPU wasn't able to just defend as well as PSU Blue did their own push.
It's really quite unfortunate, because I almost feel like I am directly responsible for that. I said so long as they don't go 2 down at a bad time, and then they proceeded to go 3 down at a bad time. So, a bit unfortunate. Also, the Slosher dropping strikes there was really unfortunate. When they were the last one left alive, I feel like the correct play would have been to fall back, take that defensive position up on top left, and just use your strikes to slow them down while you wait for some respawns. Because the Slosher went down, everyone from DPU was forced to just kind of hold forward and try to cut off the Rainmaker as quickly as possible in a bit of a scramble. And that's what led to that super messy fight with the Rainmaker dying at 32, and then the members of DPU getting caught out by the suction bombs blowing up on the Rainmaker shield, which, yeah, I don't blame them at all for being a bit panicked there. It was a tight situation. But it is unfortunate, again, like, DPU, they keep coming so close. They're within... they're within striking distance of stealing these games, and then they just keep coming up just a little bit too short.
Indeed. But let's see how they can do on this final game. Will they be able to take one for the road or not? And this is Tower Control Inkblot. I know you definitely have some strong opinions on this map.
I'm going to lean in real close to the mic to say this part. Are you ready? Bats. That's all you need to know, ladies and germs. It's all about bats on this map mode. If you have bats, you are going to win. It's not like, oh yeah, you're gonna have a pretty good chance of like taking the checkpoint, or oh yeah, like it definitely helps when you're pushing this. No, you just win. Look at the comps. PSU Blue seems to be feeling themselves, pulling out some funny stuff. Silver with on the Dynamo. J13's yeah, wait, hold slow down. It's J13 on V-Shot now, and Silver pulling out. No, wait, who's that on Clash? Is that Kasonic on Clash?
Yeah, that's Kasonic.
What a filthy meme lord. I hope he loses.
Damn. That's kind of fair though. Clash Monster is definitely his favorite weapon. He loves playing it, but he never gets the chance.
It is Tower
Same
Control.
with Silver's Dynamo here, as I know they definitely love Dynamo. It's one of their favorite weapons, but with a comp with multi on it, they don't get to play it all that often. It looks like they're taking this Game 7 to be an opportunity to have some fun and play what they want.
That is the beauty of the Play All-7, especially Game 7 of the Play All-7. If there was ever a time to just get a little bit silly, you know, drop the tough guy persona and just play some fun weapons for the hell of it, now would be the time. DPU, though, seeming not to be satisfied. They really want to take one for the win. Sticking to their usual weapons, Slosher, Carbon. Going back to the Forge Pro for that GG Booyah. Again, there's a lot of merit there. They just have to make sure they actually have the lead going into overtime so they can actually use that Booyah as a GG special. DPU going 3 down. They took the first checkpoint, but this is going to be a big opportunity for Penn State to get back into the game, especially with a crab tank likely to come out from Fujo in just a second.
Definitely. It looks like we're going to be popping at any second now, as multiple specials are coming out from PSU Blue.
J13 kind of stuck down the death pit. Gonna miss the pick on Kami, who I'm guessing got a little bit nervous with that slider. Either that or they just forgot what special they had. Either way, though, this is a bit of a chaotic mess. Pixar's kind of trading out all over the place. It doesn't really feel like anyone's too concerned with the...
We got a Dynamo squish. Hell yeah.
I feel like these players are not terribly concerned with the objective. I feel like we're just kind of DMing right now. People, we're on seafood diets. Players keep seeing each other and they're like, I want to kill that guy. The tower, who is she? Objective, never met her.
Definitely. PC Blue is opting to not touch the tower, even though multiple specials up. Seems to be popping them right here.
Barely missing the pick on the Booyah Bomb. That armor was broken, but they couldn't quite secure the pick. It seems like, no, the pro did go down, but I mean, picks just keep trading. Every time someone dies, someone on the opposite side of the map dies to balance it out. We see DPU trying to push the tower again, but them being 2 down now is probably not the best time to do so. Yeah, the other player smartly falling back there before getting themselves killed. I really need to stop talking. I feel like I'm calling things out just before they happen.
That's pretty funny coming from commentators, but it looks like 2 is going down for PSU Blue. Looks like they're trying to get a third. They get the third. It's now just J13 on their plat. Going down as well. It's going to be a late wipe for PSU Blue.
Yeah, Kami doing a lot of work with these Tetra Dualies, showing their efficacy with them. I feel like anytime one of the members of PSU tries to 1v1 Kami on these Tetras, they get themselves killed in the process. DPU going 3 down, but one of them jumping in. Did Penn State catch the jump is the thing? No, they didn't. Kami going in, barely missing a pick on Silver there. J13. That could have been a beautiful 2 down for them. But alas, they came up just a little bit short. Once again, Penn State trying to push the tower with specials online. They should be able to get a lot of points here, but again, they do not seem terribly concerned with the objective.
I mean, who cares about objective when you have stats to pad?
That is true. Never mind, they're locking in. Past that first checkpoint, DPU 3 down. J13 in bats, exactly where he needs to be. Cooler online, now threatening the second checkpoint. We see him trying to get into bats to slow him down, but J13 doing a great job holding down the position. Lead swapping in favor of PSU Blue, and DPU goes 3 down again, and there's the wipeout and the aura. Beautiful play by J13.
Now J13's in that snipe position with the Zuka. Almost would have found one, but unfortunately they had spawn armor still.
Keeping that aura going with the assist as well. This game is just, I mean, again, like, bats. That's all you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. If you take bats, it is so easy to just steamroll people. Second checkpoint all the way for the knockout. And that is Game 7, the clean 7-0 sweep for PSU Blue.
Oh yeah, definitely. PSU Blue, even if they were playing their own weapons, they showed that they're still not a force to be messed with. They showed that they can easily win, even if they're not running a very functional comp with Clash Blaster.
With Clash Blaster, I'm sure our lovely producer will be pulling up the stats in just a moment. I would love to see Kasonic's KAD there. If it's anything less than 2, then I'm going to flame him in the group chat after this. But either way, very impressive showing for PSU Blue. Again, new roster, a lot of pressure on them to deliver. They got big shoes to fill, big names that came before them that have given them this pedigree that they need to uphold. I can only imagine how intimidating that must be. I mean, hell, like when I played on Blue, that's how I felt, right? Like, don't let this super prestigious name down, you know? Like, you're among the best. Like, you need to keep that reputation up. There's a lot of pressure on them to deliver, and right now, they're not just delivering, they are exceeding expectations. A clean 7-0 sweep against the #1 top seed in their group. That is something, like, this is a team to pay attention to. Like, that doesn't happen very often.
Oh, definitely. Like, this strong of a game coming out as the first game of the season, a major upset of that, and a clean sweep of a major upset. PSU Blue is definitely going to be one of the stronger forces in their group. And probably after this fight, the rest of the teams in the group are going to be scared about PSU Blue and worried about their games against them.
Oh yeah, no, first impressions matter a lot, right? And when the other teams in this group of Div 2 hear that PSU Blue 7-0'd the top seed in their group, you know, like, intimidation is half the battle. If you go, like, even before the game starts, right? So those other teams in their group, they're going to be like, okay, guys, our opponent this week is PSU Blue, right? Just thinking in the back of their heads, yeah, like, this team's 7-0'd our top seed, they're probably pretty scary. Once that thought crosses your mind, it changes the entire way you approach the game. Oftentimes for the worse, because when people are intimidated or nervous, they begin to overthink things, they overcomplicate problems, they whiff easy kills, and next thing you know, like, you're losing the game. And PSU Blue isn't even doing anything different than they normally would be. They just command that kind of authority, that level of fear. They have that, like, they have that fear factor to have other teams bend to their whim, basically.
I think that's a funny way to put it. Though, as Nova did show us the scores for the last game, we saw that Kasonic went 12-9 on that Clash Blaster.
I know, so I guess I owe him, what, like 20 quid, maybe 25 quid? I did see he went like 5-11 in one of the earlier games, though, so you're not getting away with Kasonic. I know you got a squirrel brain, but congrats on the win, and congrats to all the players of Blue. Again, like, y'all are a well-oiled machine. This is, by no means is this the Silver Show, the Fujo Show, the J13 Show, or the Kasonic Show. This is PSU Blue Show. And frankly, they're running it, you know? Like, they are categorically killing it. DPU, a lot of strong plays, a lot of potential. Like, Max, you and I, we saw it. So many instances where all I could think was, wow, this is going to be huge for them. And then just one little thing, either on their part or otherwise, something went wrong and it ended up leading to them ultimately losing the game, right?
Indeed.
Either way, it's game 1 of the group stage out of, like, what, another 5 or 6 to go? No, like another 4 or 5, I think. There's plenty of season to go. So if you're DPU, like, you're not quitting over this, right? Week 1 might have been a bit of a rocky one, but there's plenty of time for y'all to get your heads back in the game, to converge your strategies, to really merge together as a team, and hopefully you will see some better numbers out of them next time. It's happened in the past, like teams that go 0-3 in the group stage and then lock in for those last couple weeks of the group stage, or even just one early loss sets the tone for the rest of the season, and next thing you know, they got their rears in gear and they are tearing shit up.
Definitely. We're going to have to look forward to how DPU is going to work together, get better, and see how well the rest of the season is going to go.
100%, but I do know that we have a civic duty to wrap things up pretty shortly. So, Max, where can the lovelies at home find you?
Nowhere.
Well, all right then.
No social media.
This man is elusive, ladies and germs. But if you like the sound of my dumb voice, you can find me over at my YouTube channel, Aniko Nikki. I did upload a lot of Collegiate Splatoon VODs, and me and my team are participating in Ludi this season. I plan to get some VODs from that up on that channel. So you can go over there and hit all the buttons that help me out. You know, the ones. And otherwise, shoutouts to our lovely producer, the esteemed Miss Nova. They did a great job. Max.
J Money for sitting here muted.
Yeah, and Jay Money for sitting here being our silent cheerleader. We appreciate you as well. But yeah, otherwise, I think that's about it for us. Any final thoughts, Max?
No, but let's hope, and we've got many more streams to come for future PSU games.
100% for all the lovelies at home. This has been PSU Splatoon. We'll catch you guys next time. Take it easy.
Yep. See y'all.